It was 11 p.m. The project was due at midnight. Team 19 was really pushing the limit and still not even close to finishing. We have all been there, crunched for time, stressed. So what if I told you that changing your diet can reduce stress and lead to a better night's rest? Well, that is exactly what researchers at the University of Colorado found in their study. Dietary, Prebiotics, and Bioactive milk fractions improve NREM sleep, enhance REM sleep rebound, and attenuate the stress-induced decrease in diurnal temperature and gut microbial alpha diversity.
Their study focused on determining methods to reduce stress in order to enhance sleep and increase the number of beneficial gut microbiota. They found that exposure to stress can cause disruptions in sleep as well as impact gut bacteria, which can be counteracted by the intake of dietary prebiotics. The impact of dietary prebiotics, particularly lactoferrin in milk, fat, globule membrane, were explored by giving rats either a diet containing these prebiotics or a controlled diet. Devices were used to record NREM and REM sleep, and fecal samples were taken to inspect microbial composition. The rats were subjected to an acute stressor, and the impact of this stressor on sleep and microbial composition were recorded. The study was performed in 94 days. The rats were fed a prebiotic-enriched diet in the experimental group and a normal diet in the control group. After 5 weeks on the diet, biotelemetry devices were implanted in the rats to monitor their sleep, diurnal temperature, and monitor activity. At 87 days, the rats were subjected to inescapable stress, and the recovery period was monitored in the two groups to determine the effect of diet on stress response. Researchers found the gut microbiota, sleep, and diurnal temperature were altered due to the diet.
Researchers observed that the test diet increased Lactobacillus rhamnosus in fecal cultures after 52 days. The bars to the left represent phylum Diphyrobacterus levels. Rats on the prebiotic-enriched diet had lower levels after 35 days. Researchers determined that the diet actually changed the composition of gut microbiota. But how does this relate to stress? In this figure, we can see the relationship between stress and gut microbes. In graph A, before stress was applied, the control had no significant relationship between Diphyrobacterus and an NREM sleep. The dotted line shows poor correlation. However, graph A indicates that there is a linear relationship between the bacteria and NREM sleep in the experimental group. The test diet with lower levels of Diphyrobacterus had longer NREM sleep. Graph B shows effects of stress on REM rebound sleep. There appears to be a positive linear relationship between high proteobacteria levels and enhanced sleep. The increase and decrease in certain bacteria due to this diet leads to better sleep. Thus, it is important to eat foods containing prebiotics in order to colonize intestines with healthy gut microbiota that serve to increase quality of life.
Prebiotics can have an impact on one's health by improving sleep and reducing the impacts of stress. Prebiotics, such as chicory, artichokes, garlic, and onions, allow for more time in NREM sleep than those on the non-prebiotic diet. As we learned in class, having a more diverse mixture of gut microbiota in the body allows for a lower chance of obesity. We saw in the study of mice in the growth and reproduction unit, mice that received gut bacteria from obese mice gained more weight and adipose tissue than the mice that received bacteria from a lean mouse. Gut microbes benefit from this relationship by obtaining energy and nutrients. This symbiotic relationship seen between the body and gut microbiota is analogous to the relationships we have seen in class between bacteria and plants. Legumes have a symbiotic relationship with bacteria called rhizobia. Rhizobia normally live in the soil, but when there is limited soil nitrogen, legumes release flavonoids, which signal to rhizobia that the plant is seeking symbiotic bacteria. When exposed to flavonoids, the rhizobia release nodulation factors, which stimulate the plant to create deformed root hairs. Rhizobia then form an infection thread, which allows them to enter the root cells through the root hairs. Once the rhizobia are inside the root cells divide rapidly, forming a nodule. The rhizobia create ammonia from nitrogen in the air, which is used by the plant to create amino acids and nucleotides. The plant provides the bacteria with sugars.
In conclusion, stress impacts the entire body and many people struggle with handling stress. Eating certain foods, specifically foods containing prebiotics, may help facilitate better sleep and healthier living. Obesity, heart disease, Alzheimer's disease, diabetes, depression, gastrointestinal problems, and asthma are all stress-related diseases that may be able to be managed better with diet. Further studies on the impact of dietary prebiotics on stress, sleep, and gut microbiota should be conducted to determine the full effects. So, as midnight approached, Team 19 submitted their assignment after consuming enough prebiotics to feed a small army. Midnight strikes and off they go for a good night's rest of REM rebound sleep.